And now let's turn our attention to North Africa, where the scale of destruction is staggering. In Libya, catastrophic floods have killed at least 6,000 people. More than 10,000 are missing. In Morocco, a powerful earthquake has left about 3,000 people dead. Even more are injured. In both nations, devastated communities have waited days for help, but response from Libyan and Moroccan governments seems too little, too late. Aid and rescue efforts have been sluggish. And if you're wondering why that is, the answer is politics.
Two African countries, two entirely different disasters. But grief or anger is all the same. We're talking about Libya and Morocco, where the devastation has been staggering. On Friday last week, a rare earthquake of 6.8 magnitude struck Morocco. It's left over 2,900 people dead and thousands more injured. Meanwhile, in Libya last week, a powerful storm unleashed floodwaters and burst dams. Reports say at least 6,000 are dead, with over 5,000 in the eastern city of Derna alone. At least 10,000 are missing. For both countries, these are the biggest disasters in their modern history. Entire villages have been erased. Roads are littered with dead bodies. People are still trapped under rubble. People are digging survivors out of the debris and burying their dead, often with their bare hands. Some have waited days for help. Part of this delay can be blamed on destroyed infrastructure. In Morocco, remote mountainous regions were the worst hit. These are accessible only by narrow and winding roads, so rescue teams took hours, even days to reach. And in Libya, the floods were so bad in certain regions, rescue groups had difficulty reaching people. In the worst-hit Derna, communication lines were down for days. This further hampered efforts, but infrastructure damage can't take all the blame, when the biggest roadblocks were the governments themselves. Let's start with Morocco, where the government's efforts were perplexing. Right after the quake, international aid began pouring in. But the country accepted help from only four: Qatar, the UAE, Spain and the UK, the nations it deems friendly. And who are the unfriendly ones according to Morocco? Algeria, France, Germany, Italy, the US, and so many others, many of whom had assembled their teams and were on standby. But they never got the green light. Typically, organizations like the WHO and the UN are on the scene in disaster zones, but not here. Also, it isn't just about who Morocco accepted assistance from, but also when. The green light came 2 days after the disaster. Compare this with Turkey, which was hit by a deadly earthquake this year. Within hours, authorities appealed for international help. 90 countries enabled their rescue crews and saved hundreds of lives. Now the 72-hour golden period of saving lives has passed in Morocco. Thousands are dead, and people aren't just grieving, they are furious at being abandoned by the government. But at least it's a stable one. That's not the case for Libya. It's been torn apart by over a decade of conflict. Now the country has two rival governments, one in the capital Tripoli, another controlling the country's east. You may remember, floods are ripping through eastern Libya. Did the two governments come together to save their people? The answer is no. Tripoli's government says it dispatched rescue teams, but the eastern government denies this claim. There's another complication. Derna does not share good relations with either governments, so they have been apathetic towards the city. Thus, its long history of infrastructural neglect, which is why 2 aging dams broke due to floods. And while Morocco's quake took the country by surprise, the Libyan floods could have been predicted. They were caused by a storm that gradually approached the nation. Yet authorities didn't study the water levels or prepare an evacuation plan. And now their people are paying a heavy price for it.